Alrighty. Tell me if this sounds vaguely familiar. You've been trying to lose body fat, but getting frustrated. You're tired all the time, lack energy, and are maybe sleeping poorly. You've tried the restrictive fad diets and crazy cardio only to gain back the weight and then some. You want to focus on your health and gain muscle to make your coming years the best they can be. And you're really motivated to transform your body and have sustainable results. So everyone, this was me to a T. So I did my research. I looked at all the coaching plans out there and knew I wanted one that combined both fitness and nutrition, was macro based, and had an app to keep me on track. Faster Way had all of this and more. And best of all, it is a perfect match for women in midlife. I'd love to tell you more and see if I'd be a good match for you as your coach. My contact info is in the show notes of this episode. And now, on to the show. Health, wellness, fitness, and everything in between. We're removing the taboo from what really matters in midlife. I'm your host, Michelle Folan, and this is Asking for a Friend. Life is precious, and when we are thrown into the depths of despair after the loss of a loved one, you may never feel like you get to the other side where every day doesn't make you wonder when the grip of sorrow will release its hold. Slowly, we gain our strength to begin to piece together what is to be. There is a saying that sometimes what breaks us recreates us. I introduce you to our guest today, Maura Mitchell. With decades of experience advising entrepreneurs, running her own businesses, and practicing law, Maura knows that clarity, curiosity, and courage are vital to overcoming challenges and finding success, especially when dealing with loss. Maura holds a Juris Doctorate and an MBA, is a managing director of entrepreneurial services at the Women's Business Development Center, and strategizes as a member of the board of directors for her family-owned manufacturing business. Welcome to Asking for a Friend, Maura Mitchell.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. And I'm hoping that I can say one thing that inspires someone going through this time of their lives.
Yeah, and I think we need to define loss too. And we'll get into that a little bit, but I may not even be loss of a loved one. It could be a loss of some other magnitude in someone's life. And I think that, the recovery process for all of those types of losses can be very similar. But I want to back up a little bit, Maura. I said just a little bit about who you are, but I wonder if you could fill in the gaps a little bit about where you're from and any other family details.
Sure. I'm from Brookfield, Wisconsin, but right now I live right outside Chicago, Illinois. I am the eldest of 7 children, and that is an important point because that has been my community. My 5 sisters and 1 brother have gathered around me during this time. I have 3 adult children that have been amazing too. 1 is 30 and engaged to be married, just got engaged.
Oh,
and
exciting.
Very exciting. 1 is 27 and 1 is 24, and she's actually moving home today. She just got accepted into medical school in Illinois, so she is going to come home and not live from home, but be here for the summer and then figure out where she's going to live to go to school.
Fantastic. That is so exciting. Well, congratulations. You've got some really great things going on in your life right now. So I'm assuming you come from a family of 7 kids. You're Catholic.
Yes.
Yeah.
How'd you guess? Irish Catholic. Yeah.
I am too. But yeah. Yeah. And I can tell you're from Wisconsin because you still have your lovely Wisconsin accent going too. So, Maura, you've had really a tremendous career and a lot of giving back with the career you've had. Great family, we hear.
Yeah.
Friends. And then last year, the rug got pulled out from under you. You lost your husband, Duncan. Mm-hmm. Can you share what happened?
Yes. So he had been having some atrial fibrillation issues and had been going to a cardiologist and getting checked. They found that he needed to be on, he went on beta blockers that helped his atrial fibrillation. And he seemed to be adjusting to the medication. He had his heart screened, so he didn't have any blockages. No, reason to think about a heart attack. So the two of us were really active. He was a runner and a biker. He started to slow down when the atrial fibrillation started. It impacted he got tired a lot more and he was slower. But then after getting on the medicine, he felt much better. So we rode bikes and ran. He didn't run as much after being diagnosed, but we rode bikes all the time. And on September 3rd, we did a ride in Chicago called Bike the Drive. And it's Lakeshore Drive that gets shut down and everyone can ride their bikes on Lakeshore Drive.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, we stayed at my son's house who lives in the city and got up early and got to the Bike the Drive. And on the way, he commented on what a beautiful morning it was. And we rode the bikes and he just was going too fast. He was really competitive and he thought he was going to race through this, but it was a leisurely biking experience. And I just said, please slow down, Duncan. Let's just enjoy this ride because the Lakeshore Drive is gorgeous if you haven't ever been. And so he pulled up in front of me and all of a sudden he tipped over and I couldn't figure out if he had hit someone or hit a rock. So I came up to him and he was not breathing. He was breathing, but it was some false breathing, I guess they call it.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to turn him over. I couldn't. But we were so blessed that day. There were angels everywhere because it was a big event. There were doctors on bikes. So the doctors got off the bikes. There must have been 6 doctors performing CPR on him. And Lakeshore Drive is really close. Where he fell is really close to Northwestern Memorial Hospital, which is one of the best hospitals in the world, especially for cardiac emergencies. So they kept him going, but he didn't have a heartbeat for a while. They kept it going, got it going again. And then the ambulance came and I think I lost him then.
Mm-hmm.
So then he got to the hospital and stayed on machines for 2 days. And we had to make a decision to take him off the machines. And so my kids and I decided after one more bad test result that it was time. He was on a heart and lung machine. So if you just turned that off, he was going to pass away.
Yeah.
So he died on September 5th, 2023. Yeah. And it was traumatic. And yeah.
Okay, first of all, as I'm tearing up here, I can't even imagine. First of all, your bravery in coming on my podcast and sharing that because it's still very fresh.
Yes.
I can't even begin to imagine how hard it was to make that decision, but it was a loving decision to let him go.
Yes.
Do you even remember those first few days?
I can see the accident. That is stuck in my brain forever, I believe. Those next few weeks, it was very strange. I think it hadn't hit me. Everyone was visiting. There was a lot of activity. We had to do all this planning. So I think I was operating like a robot, just in automatic control. I cried a little bit, but nothing like I thought I would. And then I spoke at the funeral. I had enough energy to do that. And I said, I have to do that. Yeah, we had the wake and hundreds of people came because he was 60 years old when it happened. So he was younger. We have a lot of friends and he did a lot of extracurricular activities. So he had a lot of friends from his soccer and his poetry reading, things like that. Yeah. So I don't remember. I mean, it wasn't real life to me. It was it was God's grace, I think.
Yeah, you go into just like auto drive and you just go through the motions. At what point, like how long did it take you, Maura, to like pick your head up and start to say, okay, I need to get my life back to some semblance of normal?
So I'm lucky I had a full-time job and I, had a month off to think about things. I knew I had to keep working because I don't know what I would have done here alone. My children are grown, as I said, and they're not living with me. So I used that month after the funeral. I had 2 weeks after the funeral to really take time, and I kind of put my personal care on overdrive. I started meditating more and really just took care of myself. Not to say it was easy. I have days where I sit all day long and cry. That's happening less frequently now at 8 months out, but it used to happen on Saturdays. I would get up and hear a song or, see his clothing in the closet, and it would just strike me and I would cry the rest of the day.
Yeah. And you weren't working on Saturdays,
No.
and your mind, you get too much time to think on those days.
Yes.
You said that your self-care went into overdrive. I kind of want to dig into that a little bit, because I think that might be something that might be a tip for someone going through this.
Yeah.
How did you approach that?
So I did have a therapist before this, thank God. And she had really gotten me into meditation. She said, start with watching a candle flicker, the flame on a candle flicker. So I did that. I have been doing that for a long time, but I still, had the mind, tons of words passing through my mind at one time, would run on. So it took me till I took this course called Light Watkins called 10-minute meditation. And that was 10 minutes of meditation in total silence. And I just found that I could get a Zen feeling for maybe 30 seconds of that 10 minutes. But if I held on to that 30 seconds, I could feel good for a morning. So I use meditation quite often. I use a gratitude journal. Every day I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for. I also have this app called 1 Second Every Day. And it is just taking photos every day, taking a photo of something that's beautiful in your life. So a lot of it is flowers for me. So I take a photo and I save it in this app called 1 Second Every Day. So then you can see what you've gathered over the month.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So I found little tools that I use that bring me joy, because life really is beautiful. And my husband taught me that. I knew it as a child. My dad was really into watching birds, and he would always say what a beautiful day it was. But then I married someone who said it and told me how blessed he was every day. So he taught me how to get in this mind frame. I was more of a control freak. So I had to rely on his memory and what he would do every day.
Yeah. The meditation piece too, I have to address that first before it leaves my mind. So many guests come on the show and we talk about meditation and how hard it is. Particularly if you are a little bit of control freak and your brain never shuts off. Being able to do that even just for 10 minutes is a real challenge. So I like that idea of the flickering candles. So thank you for that.
Sure.
Because I need to start a meditation practice, and I've been putting it off because I know I can barely get through a whole prayer thinking about buying milk at the grocery store. I mean, it's so bad. It's so bad. Your husband taught you to appreciate the little things. Yeah.
Yeah, we would go on walks, and our favorite insect is a monarch butterfly. So we would go around the block here. There's a person that has kind of a field in their front yard, and the monarch butterflies would come. So we would walk over there quite often with our dog. And so just those little things that you don't think of. And now they hit me more often.
Yeah. It's a great life lesson, I think, for all of us to appreciate something as simple as a butterfly or a walk with your dog.
Mm-hmm.
We have some gratitude for that. The gratitude journal, I hear more and more people doing the gratitude journal, and even some of the guests on my show have also spoken of every morning. That is their one thing that they do. And any tips on how to develop a good gratitude practice?
So my morning has gotten really slow now. I don't rush to work like I used to. And I do a few things in the morning, and now they've become habits. So one is to meditate for 10 minutes. One is to play scattergories. So I do a puzzle. I text my children and I do my gratitude journal, and I write down 3 simple things. It could just be, I am loved, I have a house, and the sun is out today.
Yeah.
So 3 simple things. And so I think it's called habit stacking, where you start doing something on top of something another habit, and then it can become habit.
That's great. And I have to point this out though, because if I look back at your Instagram, and I've been following you for quite a while, you've always had a very positive outlook in your Instagram, even before Duncan passed away. I think maybe the big thing for you is to get back to that.
Yes, it
is to get back to being that person that was trying to motivate others to think a little differently about their life or their day.
Yeah. And originally it was around aging, because I hit 60 and I was not excited about hitting 60. But really, if you look at it, we have another day. We have another opportunity. I have this quote that a client said to me. It's by Confucius, and it's, we have 2 lives, and the second one begins when we realize we only have one. So it's just,
that's beautiful.
There's I think at 60, I had an awakening. Who knows when it's going to happen? And then it happened to me. I lost my husband, but I don't know, hitting 60 really was monumental.
Interesting. And I try to look at it this way too, is I still have a third, maybe, of my life to live. And more than ever, I have the ability to determine what I want that to look like.
Yes.
Less so in my, first 30,
right?
Because a lot of that was dictated by things I couldn't control. And then the next 30 were my kids. Yeah. And now it's in my job. And now I think I get to, call the shots maybe a little bit more. And I think that's a gift that we have.
Yeah, I think it is. I feel freer than ever. And I mean, I have a job that I could do until I'm 70, but because I can also do other things on the side with it, I'm excited. And I'm excited after 70. Duncan and I never talked about retirement. So that was one good thing. We never had a plan for what was going to happen when we both quit our jobs. He was in a really exciting job. He had just gotten, like a year before this happened. And I really enjoy my job. So I think that helps. And then, to have a few side interests helps also.
Yeah. And I think staying fit too.
Yes.
That's the other piece, because you don't feel there's this end in sight when you feel really good in the morning. You're like, I can keep going for a while.
Yes.
With having gone through this heartbreaking experience, how has it changed your approach to working with your clients now? Has there been any change in how you approach them?
Yes, definitely. In fact, last week I had a client and she was stuck in her business. She's a solopreneur and she had goals set for herself and she wasn't attaining her goals. But she said, Maura, even besides this, I feel like I shouldn't be doing this work. I'm so wrapped up in it. I'm so worried about it. I'm not myself. And I said, well, what have you done to take care of yourself? So now I introduce questions around personal care. And she said, I don't do anything. And so she said, I'm going to take a homework assignment from you and do something that gives me joy for 1 hour a day for the next week. And she's checking in with me today, actually, to see how her first week of doing something joyful every day works. So I think, when you're exercising and you get that adrenaline rush, you can kind of forget about your problems or your challenges. And sometimes clarity, I know when I'm out walking the dog, that's when something pops into my head that I've been searching for days. And so I think maybe by focusing on joyful things, she said her grandchildren brought her joy, that, the business stuff will come to her, and I think she'll get some clarity around what she should do to move forward with her business.
Well, I think it's a good message too, Maura, is that our business life and our personal life intersect. They're not separate.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the person we're bringing into the business every day. And if you're not prioritizing yourself, you're not really probably doing well for anybody.
No. And like you said, everyone's experienced some sort of loss. So if I can reach my client and talk about their loss, it really becomes a good session.
So when you are working with clients, give me an idea of who your clients exactly are.
So we target women, business owners, and we target low income and under-resourced women. But we have free services, so anyone can take advantage of our free services. I do work for a nonprofit called the Women's Business Development Center, and anyone can come in. So I will help anyone who's starting a business or scaling a business and just has questions. So some days I'm helping people that, have an idea and they want to take it to market. Another day I will have someone come in and say, I'm stuck and I want to scale my business. So I help all different people developing apps and people that are selling skincare. So it's interesting because I am learning every day. I don't know anything about a lot of these industries, but I know how to help people market research and get started.
Oh, that's neat. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you get to work with women.
Yes.
So what's not to like about that?
Yeah. And I hope they feel better after we work together. I am an accountability partner. So we set goals and then they come back to me to talk more about their goals.
Very nice. So you do post a lot of uplifting messages and quotes. We talked a little bit about that on Instagram. Where do you see this going for you?
That's a good question. That's what I'm trying to determine. I did just join a group called Recognized Experts. It's sponsored by Dory Clark. She is an author of the book called Stand Out, and she talks about finding your breakthrough idea. So one that fulfills you and honors your passion, but also serves others. So I'm thinking that this may, my pain may be turned into my passion. And if I can help anyone going through something like this, because it is devastating, if I can help someone with one word, one piece of advice, I would love to do that. So I just have to figure out if I stay at my job and just introduce it that way, or if I'm thinking maybe if I could do some speaking engagements or write a book. We'll see. Mm-hmm. I've just started on this pathway. I've really enjoyed the Recognized Experts program, though, because a number of those people have written books and they've written for, like the Harvard Business Review on certain ideas that they've had.
Well, you can do both.
Yes.
You can. Listen to me. You get time. You get continue because what I see, there are a lot of women's groups out there that always want speakers to come in and talk about their experiences and how they've been able to heal and move forward and self-care what that means to them. And I see where you can package this all very nicely. Here, I'm like giving you advice, but I should be asking you advice.
Are you available for mentorship?
Actually, I'm the one that needs help because I'm trying to build a business too, but we can talk about that offline. Okay. Oh gosh. So you're also a great role model for, staying fit and staying active. I don't see you slowing down anytime soon. Have you always been like really active and played sports? And
I have. I found that running really brought me joy and cleared my mind. Just like meditation, it's a lot worse on my body. I still do run. I do need to run. I run just one day a week, about 3 miles, but that feeling afterwards makes me, helps me through the week. I played sports as a child, and I've been running, since 18 years old. Not very much, just enough to get the runner's high. I haven't done any marathons or anything. I've done a bunch of 5Ks. Oh, and I did triathlons at age 50. That was my age 50 breakthrough.
Oh, you're insane.
I don't know if I could do one now. I thought I could, but yeah.
Anyone that does a triathlon. My husband he used to do Ironman, and it was before I knew him. But yeah,
that's amazing.
Not in a million years would you catch me swimming in a lake where I can't see in front of me.
But you're very active too.
Well, I am, but not like that. I don't do, play pickleball and do all those kind of competitive things. I just kind of do my own thing because that's my self-care. That my self-care is the long 3-mile walk.
Yeah.
In total quiet. I mean, sometimes I listen to podcasts, but sometimes I just turn everything off. I got a great tip from a previous guest, and she walks every day. This is part of her self-care routine. And when she goes walking, she carries a little tiny pad of paper and a pencil. Ooh. And you know how you say you get good ideas when you're out walking? Writing those down. Having, some people have a tablet next to their bed. So when they wake up at 3 a.m, they can start writing ideas. But she does it when she's out walking.
Oh, I like that. Because that's when it happens. I'm out walking and I'll think, I've got to find a quote regarding this, or, I want to write a little bit more about this. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I was going to ask you what one of your core pillars of self-care is, but I think I know what it is. It's your gratitude and your meditation. Yes. So I think we covered off on that one already, but is there anything else?
My puzzles help. Oh, you know what? My friends.
Oh, puzzles.
My friends got together and bought me 18 months of monthly massages.
Oh, really?
Yes. And I found a massage therapist that is excellent. I don't really like the deep massages, but he can get to a point in my neck or a point in my hamstring and just work it out. And I feel so good afterwards.
Yeah. Nothing's better than a good massage. Yes. Yeah, I like that. Would you ever date again?
That's interesting you ask. I just went on, was it Silver Singles? And I don't think I can do it. It's really early.
You're not ready yet.
It's really early. I think
you're not ready.
I miss male companionship. I really miss my husband a lot. I miss our discussions. I feel that men can be lighthearted a little bit more often. My sons really help me with that. We have Sunday suppers and they come over and make me laugh a little bit more. My husband made me laugh. I love women. I love empowering women, but I see women all day. I work with women. And so to have a male companion would be enjoyable, I think. Maybe a few male companions.
You don't have to commit. It's companionship. Well, a couple things. First of all, when you're ready, you're ready. Yes. And you'll know when you're ready. One of those lovely friends may fix you up with someone that they've met, which is never a bad thing. I've mentioned before on this podcast that I did meet my husband on Match.com.
Oh, you did?
I did. And the interesting thing about that too was had I not been on Match, I would never have met him, because even though we lived literally 30 seconds from each other.
Wow.
But our paths would never have crossed. So
yeah, I am not. No, I mean, that's the way I believe I'll meet someone, through an app. I just went through and I just could not commit. I couldn't.
Just leave it alone for now. Because it's once you get on there, you get into the depths of hell with some of that stuff. And it's like, it would be like going on to Amazon and typing in black pumps or something. There's just so much inventory out there.
So much. And I don't know where
not all quality.
Like you said, I don't know where to begin. So I'm going to wait.
Yeah. Okay. You're not ready yet. How do you work with clients? So I know we talked about your clients a little bit, but how can people find you if they are local to the Chicagoland area?
If they are local, we have a website. It is www.wbdc.org.
Okay. And then do you work with clients remotely, or is it all mostly in person?
Most of it is Zoom sessions.
Okay, you do. Okay. And then where can listeners find your Instagram account?
Yes, it's called Sublime60s is my handle. And I'm also finding more traction on LinkedIn.
Okay. And are you Sublime 60s there too?
No, just by my name.
Okay. All right. Maura Mitchell, I really appreciate you being on the show today. This was a lot of fun. And I wish you the best in your healing, and continue to give out there, because you are doing some tremendous work.
Thank you so much, Michelle. This was my pleasure. And I hope to speak to you again soon. Well, we'll keep in touch.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Follow Asking for a Friend on social media outlets, and provide a review and share this show wherever you get your podcasts. Reviews and sharing help us grow.